Before we begin, make sure you subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications, because the story you're about to hear proves that the smallest coins can carry the biggest surprises, and you won't want to miss what's coming next. Picture this for a moment. A quiet afternoon, a drawer that hasn't been opened in years, the sound of metal lightly clinking as old coins slide against each other. For many men who've lived long enough to remember real pocket change, this scene feels familiar. And hidden in moments like these is where legends begin. Today's story is about a humble 1-cent coin from South Africa, dated 1970. A coin so ordinary at first glance that most people would never give it a second look. Copper-colored, lightweight, and once passed from hand to hand without a second thought. But behind its simple design lies a story of history, scarcity, and astonishing value. In 1970, South Africa was a very different place. The economy was shifting, metals were becoming more expensive, and mints around the world were adjusting how coins were produced. The 1-cent coin of that year was part of everyday life. It bought small items, it filled change jars, and it jingled in the pockets of working men. No one imagined that decades later, collectors would speak about this coin in hushed, excited tones. What makes this coin so fascinating is not just its age, but its circumstances. The 1970 issue represents a turning point. Changes in minting practices, limited production runs, and subtle differences in strike quality all combined to create a coin that, in rare cases, became something extraordinary. Most of these coins were used heavily. They were scratched, worn, and eventually discarded. Only a tiny fraction survived in exceptional condition, untouched by time, protected from circulation, and preserved almost by accident. For collectors, condition is everything. Men who have spent years studying coins know this well. The sharpness of the design, the clarity of the date, the original surface untouched by harsh cleaning. A 1971-cent coin that looks as if it was struck yesterday is already a rare find. But rarity alone is not the full story. What truly drives desire is uniqueness. Slight variations in metal composition, alignment, or striking pressure can turn a common coin into a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. Imagine holding a coin that thousands of others have handled, yet yours is different. Maybe the lettering is stronger, the portrait more defined, or the surface shows an unusual finish. These small details separate ordinary change from legendary artifacts. And for seasoned men who appreciate craftsmanship, history, and patience, this is where the thrill lives. There is also an emotional connection. This coin comes from an era many viewers remember personally. It represents hard work, simpler transactions, and a time when money felt physical and real. Holding such a coin is like holding a piece of your own past. That emotional weight adds to its power and appeal. Collectors are not just buying metal. They are buying memory, history, and identity. Over the years, stories have circulated about rare South African coins appearing at auctions or in private collections and shocking everyone in the room. A man brings in a small coin, modestly wrapped, unsure if it's worth anything. Experts examine it closely. The room grows quiet. Magnifying glasses come out. Whispers begin. And suddenly, that simple 1-cent coin is no longer simple at all. The 1970 issue stands out because it sits at the crossroads of availability and disappearance. Enough were made that people recognize it, but so few survived in the right condition that demand far outweighs supply. This imbalance is what drives serious collectors to pay staggering sums. They are not just buying a coin. They are securing a position in history, owning something that almost no one else can. For men aged 55 to 65 and beyond, this story resonates deeply. You've lived long enough to understand patience. You know the value of holding on to things when others throw them away. You've seen ordinary objects become priceless simply because time passed and the world changed. This coin is a perfect example of that truth. The next time you come across old change, don't rush past it. Look closely. Feel the weight. Examine the details. That 1-cent coin from 1970 might be more than a memory. It might be a silent witness to history, waiting for the right moment to reveal its worth. Before we begin, Hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon so you never miss a story that might just change the way you look at those old coins lying in your drawers. Because today, we're diving deep into a small piece of bronze that carries the weight of history, memory, and an unbelievable fortune. Now, close your eyes for a moment and imagine it's 1967. The world is changing. Radios crackle with the news of revolutions. The hum of new cars fills the air, and somewhere in South Africa, a minting press strikes a coin. Small, humble, but destined to become something extraordinary. It's just 1 cent, tiny, brown, and often overlooked. But this particular 1967 1 cent coin, holds a story that many collectors would give anything to possess. Picture that coin. On one side, the elegant portrait of Jan van Riebeeck, the Dutch colonial figure whose image once symbolized South Africa's history. The engraving is sharp, the letters South Africa, Suid-Afrika, split between two languages, English and Afrikaans, a sign of the nation's dual heritage. And then, on the reverse, the graceful image of a pair of Cape sparrows, small birds resting on a branch, symbolizing simplicity and the everyday beauty of life in the Southern Hemisphere. At first glance, it's just a coin. A cent that might have bought a few sweets from the corner shop or been handed over for a newspaper. Yet, behind that small coin lies the spirit of a generation. For men who grew up in those years, coins weren't just currency. They were tokens of a world that moved slower, when hard work, pride, and craftsmanship mattered most. You didn't swipe cards or tap phones. You carried real money. You felt the weight of it. And this coin, struck in bronze, holds that same kind of honest weight. Now, here's where the story takes a turn. Not every 1967 1 cent coin is just another piece of pocket change. Somewhere, in the mints of Pretoria, a few special coins were struck differently. Maybe it was an accident. Maybe it was intentional. But a handful of coins came out with an extraordinary level of perfection. Flawless surfaces, razor-sharp details, and a mint luster that time couldn't dull. Collectors call these proof strikes, or mint errors, and over the decades, they've become the stuff of legend. Some say only a few of these coins survived. Others whisper that one in particular carries a marking mistake that makes it one of a kind. For decades, it was forgotten, tossed into jars, drawers, and boxes, waiting for someone with the right eye to rediscover it. Imagine that, a treasure worth millions, sitting quietly in someone's old tin of coins, gathering dust. You see, for collectors, the 1967 1 cent coin represents more than metal. It's a symbol of a nation's transition, from the British Commonwealth to an independent identity, from colonial pasts to modern ambitions. It's the kind of coin that tells stories without needing words. When you hold it, you feel time slow down. You feel connection to history, to craftsmanship, to your own memories of simpler times. Think back to when coins had meaning. You'd jingle them in your pocket, counting out each cent. You might have even given one just like this to a young child, showing them how money works, teaching them about value, not just price. Today, we swipe and forget. But coins like the 1967 1 cent remind us of what value used to mean: effort, patience, and pride. Now, as decades passed, collectors began noticing something unusual. The 1967 1 cent coin, especially the English version, started gaining attention at auctions. At first, it fetched a few hundred, then a few thousand. The demand wasn't just from South Africa, but from collectors across the globe who wanted a piece of this post-colonial rarity. They saw it as a bridge between eras, a coin that marked the last breath of the old world before the new one arrived. Experts examined it closely. They noted how the edges were struck, the precision of the lettering, the fine lines and the feathers of those tiny sparrows. The more they looked, the more they realized this coin wasn't ordinary. Its craftsmanship rivaled even the finest proof coins of that decade. And as with any collectible, rarity plus history equals value beyond imagination. For many older gentlemen, perhaps men like you watching right now, this coin isn't just about money. It's about legacy. It's about remembering a time when the world seemed steadier, when your first job might have paid you in coins just like it. When saving meant dropping pennies into a tin and watching them pile up, dreaming of what they might buy someday. Those little coins carried dreams. And this 1967 1 cent, carries a dream so large it's hard to believe. Collectors and historians now speak of it in reverent tones. They say that among all the South African cents ever struck, this one stands out like a diamond among pebbles. Only a handful remain in pristine condition. Some may never be found again. But one, a single piece verified by experts, changed everything. It sold at an international auction for a price that shocked even seasoned dealers. Imagine standing there, holding a coin once worth a single cent, and realizing it could buy you a mansion, a yacht, or change your family's future forever. That's what happened. Because this little bronze beauty, the 1967 1 cent English version from South Africa, reached a staggering value of $7 million. Yes, $7 million for something that once jingled in someone's pocket, forgotten and dismissed as small change.so. The next time you open that old box of coins from your father or grandfather, take a closer look. Wipe off the dust. Turn each one under the light. Because you never know, history might be sitting right there in your hands. It's not just about what it's worth, it's about what it represents. A lifetime of memories. A window into a world that once was. And if you've still got that spark of curiosity, that thrill of discovery that never fades no matter how many birthdays you've seen, then keep watching, keep exploring, and don't forget, even the smallest coin can hold the greatest story. Subscribe now, because next time, we'll uncover another hidden gem of history that could be waiting just a few feet from where you're sitting. But for today, remember this. A single cent from 1967, struck in South Africa, carrying the whispers of time, has become one of the most valuable coins ever known, worth a jaw-dropping $7 million.